Welcome everyone to the Energy Awareness Commission meeting Tuesday, February 11th. I'd like to call the meeting to order. I think the first thing that we'll take care of is something that shows up later on in the agenda, and that is to approve the chair and vice chair of the Energy Awareness Commission.
Just do that.
So I don't know if we want to start with any nominations for chair and vice chair.
I nominate Jordy Veit for chair and Rick Oppitz as vice chair.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Rick?
I'll second.
Okay. So we have a motion in second for Jordy as the chair and Rick as the vice chair. Any other discussion? Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, and then we'll go back up to the beginning of the agenda, which is the approval of minutes. And it's actually the minutes from our September meeting, since we haven't had a meeting for a while. So I guess, are there any changes or notes for that one?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the September meeting.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion in second to approve the September meeting minutes. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, item 2.1. Derek, whenever you're ready, the December 2019 income statement.
So this would be the income statement for all new members. These would be a majority of all the there's many accounts within that focus around the CIP or the Conservation Improvement Program. Some things that you generally won't see will be things associated with that are taken out of the lump sum, such as healthcare type things and things that would go to insurance and whatnot. But these are what you'll be seeing each meeting, which would be the programs associated with the Conservation Improvement Program that would be rebated back to customers, whether it's residential customers or commercial or industrial customers. So this would be the end of the year. It's not really the end of the year balance because we still accept applications for rebates going in for another month. So it doesn't actually end so far January. They'll have until February until all these accounts are closed out for the year. So the budget remaining when this was printed was $50,000. We've had some come in. It's closer to about $36,000 remaining out of the overall budget. And if you notice the original budget for each account on the left-hand side in the middle, last year we started with $254,400 that are put into our programs. $30,000 some dollars is a higher amount. Usually we're down. The highest it's probably been before that was 20-some thousand, but we can get down to having 2,000 or 3,000 left in an overall budget. And that what plays into that is industrial customers submitting rebates, because their rebates for what they submit for an application are much larger quantity money-wise. And then also customers not submitting the correct information or not purchasing the correct products that get denied. So if people would really focus on what the rebate applications say, such as purchasing Energy Star appliances and things like that, our overall budget would be much less.
Do you find that you have quite a few people that just bring it in and you have to deny them because of that?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep. 30 to 50 applications.
Really?
I don't know if that's, over the grand scheme
Sure.
of things, it's probably a small percentage, but it all kind of
Right.
adds up over the course of a year. And then, like I said, the industrial customers, if they're not submitting rebates for motors or variable frequency drives and things like that. That kind of cuts into the budget, so. And there are, for new members, you notice a lot of accounts that go over budget.
Oh, okay.
One thing that I focus on is making sure I do not go over our overall budget. So there will be, towards the end of each year, budgets or accounts that go over. That's because we're trying to, according to the state statutes, we're trying to spend the money that we have in these accounts and capture savings. So if we consistently turn people away or deny people based on the individual account, we're not going to be able to really spend the money that state statutes say we're supposed to spend, and we're not going to be able to capture those savings. So if you were wondering why some are in the negative or in the red, that's the reason why. Questions on any of the accounts?
I was wondering about the energy education and research grant.
Yep,
So there's $5,000 there, but nothing
correct.
spent. Do grants?
So last year was the first year that we gave out that grant since before that it was maybe 2007. That was I believe the putting green when that was still around and was starting up. They received grant money from that, and then the next time was the public high school put up solar panels and applied for a grant. And then this year, nobody applied for any grants.
Well, that's too bad.
Yeah.
Is there any other questions or comment about the December 2019 income statement?
I'm done.
Otherwise, I'd be looking for a motion to approve.
I'll make the motion to approve the December income statement.
I will second.
We have a motion and second to approve the December 2019 income statement. Any other questions? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, item 3.1 under old business, Saving Watts in Drops campaign.
Yeah, it keeps dropping me.
So for the new members that we have, last year we worked with CERTS, which is a clean energy resource team, doing a saving watts and drops campaign, and that focused around not only saving electricity but being saving water conservation. So as you can see on the notes, we purchased 3,350 9-watt LED bulbs and 372 kitchen and bathroom aerators for about 6 multifamily units last year. This ended months ago, but we haven't had a meeting in a while, so it's just a summary saying that this project is wrapped up. All the items have been distributed to the apartment buildings, and they should pretty much all be installed.
Have you been back to them and talked to them about them
Um,
being installed? Or
A few of them, yeah, but
Yeah.
not all of them.
Yeah.
Yep. As far as I know, they all were excited once they finally picked them up. They were
Sure.
surprised on how much they actually had,
Mm-hmm.
because they kind of, it took a while, so they forgot how many they actually purchased.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of were like, oh no, we have to install these.
Yeah.
So they had quite a task ahead of them, but
Good.
So, do you think there's more of a call for that program again, or did we kind of cover most of them with this round?
I think we probably hit up most of them. Yeah, some
Okay.
didn't. Some already have converted bulbs to LED. I can't remember what some of the people said. If it's the tenants paid electricity, so I think the people that own the buildings didn't want to deal with it. Where in this case, the tenants paid electricity, but they were willing to do it. And in the other cases, the owners, own the building, so they're getting the benefit of the bulbs.
Yep.
So, and the reduced electrical usage and bill, so.
Okay. Right. Any other questions or discussion? And it doesn't look like we need any action on this one.
Well, that's it. It got
you want
omitted,
us
but it would
to
be a
motion.
motion to, file and receive notice type thing.
Okay.
I'll offer the motion to receive and file the report.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and second to receive and order file the report on the Saving Watts and Drops campaign. Any other questions or discussion? Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, I gotta get caught up on my screen here. Under new business, 4.1, the IMVAC 2020 contract. Derek.
So in front of you, we have the yearly Minnesota Valley Action Council contract. This contract focuses on our low-income program. Minnesota Valley Action Council has been doing this for numerous years. And the contract is pretty standard. 2-3 years ago, maybe some of the prices that we rebate or pay them or reimburse them went up. But as far as I know, prices have not gone up. The only change besides dates to reflect the current 2020 would be item number 3, where the money we give to Minnesota Valley Action Council or let them know how much we're gonna put in the program has changed. In the past, we've put in $12,500 each year, and it's been reduced to $10,000. So that's the only change within the contract that I'm aware of. This is the same contract, like I said, we've been using for years. No items have been, on our end, have been removed or added, and they generally aren't going to remove any items. So this program, just so you know, it's our one loan program that focuses on low income. State statutes are kind of wishy-washy, but the Department of Commerce, to me they are, but the Department of Commerce strongly suggests that utilities have a program that focuses on low income. And all products, all appliances, because this focuses on appliances, go to replacement of existing appliances. So it's not, I double checked, it's not purchasing something that they didn't already have. So if they have a dishwasher, it has to be at least 10 years old or older, or a freezer. But they are new appliances, and we do rebate or reimburse MVAC full amount.
But Derek, you're saying that one person could get $6,000, but there's only $10,000 in the whole account?
That's what it's been in the past.
Really?
They've never really, there hasn't been anybody that's ever gotten
No,
that
not
amount of
that I'm
money.
aware of. Not that in the past we've had $12,500 budgeted to them, and it doesn't seem there's like we'll get to what. Well, and we just were there was $3,000 left in the budget of 2019.
Do you
So
know how
they
many-
they don't use the full amount each year. It's really dependent on what people they get in
What the need is.
and what the need is, right?
Do you know how many people we helped last year?
Off the top of my head, it could be close to 11,
Yeah. I know it doesn't seem like a lot for the money that
right?
goes into it, but
Yeah, and
a-
we probably, for what we pay and get back for savings, obviously we're paying full
Right.
amounts, so we're not getting very much savings for this program, but with this program, that's not really the
the
point,
focus.
right?
Mhm.
It's not the focus, and if we didn't have a program like this, and if these people had to get a new appliance, I would guess the likelihood of them getting something that's working and is not energy efficient, they'll just be replacing it apple for an apple, non-efficient appliance for another non-efficient appliance, is what my guess is. So
My biggest problem was the dishwasher, because I don't think you need to have a dishwasher. But I didn't realize all the money wasn't spent. If there was someone
Yeah.
that wanted a dishwasher, but this person over here needed a,
right, and that's what I discussing things with people. I double checked, and it is written in the contract, replacement. And, even here to be considered for replacement. To me, that's existing, and then it needs to be 10 years old or older.
but it's not really saying that it has to be, or which one are you looking at?
Well, Exhibit A.
I mean, under dishwashers on number 10, where it shows the maximum amount, it's saying, as well as removal and disposal of existing equipment. But it doesn't say that it had to be existing.
I think the overall on top does, though. Overall. For all the measures. To be considered for replacement, any appliance or units must be 10 years old or older, or inefficient working condition. Any exceptions will be noted. Right here. So it means all of
Okay.
these measures that
Okay.
they have, all of them for any
I mean, that's kind of
units.
a lot of the, I guess to me that's a lot of part of all the programs are, there's some that cater to like new home constructions, new furnaces, things like that, but to capture a real savings, you
I
need to
just- I
compare
just-
it to something that it
yeah.
was and what
I just think it's strange that dishwashers are in there, but like stoves and dryers aren't.
Because there's really no,
Yeah.
the savings on there is no savings
right.
on a stove.
There's no energy,
Mm-mm.
really.
It's all resistive heat.
And all these types of appliances, they can, like with the savings, they can be found with the TRM, the Technical Reference Manual, to capture those savings, so. Which is one reason why, like Lisa said, why a stove wouldn't be on there. It's
Mhm.
not a,
Yeah, it's not recognized
Acceptable,
by the
right.
state as an energy saving measure.
But then the next thing is that they've got electric water heaters and not gas water heaters,
Right.
which I think is strange.
And I wouldn't think that we would see electric water heaters,
yeah, I guess that's
Very
one thing I've really picked up on, but yeah, that's,
because it's certainly going to cost them a ton more
Yeah.
at this
Right.
point.
right,
An electric water heater. So it might be something that, there's gas.
mm-hmm.
You might want to, that might be something you want to consider a change.
And
The only
that's never been, that's, as far as I know, not since I've been in this position, I haven't seen that come through. But that's another thing why we need to look at this. This has been used year and year. I don't know how long this is.
Mm-hmm.
The only downside is that an energy efficient gas water heater is a lot more expensive than an electric water heater.
Right.
But if there's money left over,
Yeah, and the money left, it's, like I said earlier, it depends on how many people they get in
mhm,
and what they need, where it could
Yeah.
just wipe it out fairly quick
yeah.
if they had people waiting.
I think Mary Ellen's point about the clothes dryer too, because wouldn't newer clothes dryers be more energy efficient than older ones?
Yep.
It
There
seems odd that
isn't,
it's
there,
not on that
and that
list.
is an acceptable measure. I'm surprised that isn't
Yeah.
on their
Yeah.
list,
I
because
didn't see it.
I don't see it either.
So the other thing that kind of sticks out to me, and maybe this is getting back to the savings, they have the central air conditioning tune-up, they have the central air conditioning installation, but there's no like furnace or heating. and else I'm just missing it. And I don't know, maybe there's not a way to capture savings
Well, and didn't
I
it say
think-
for
that, but
the air conditioner, it says in an emergency situation.
I would imagine that might be
Yeah.
medical, if somebody needs it for a medical.
that would make sense, yeah.
That's what I was wondering, if that's the,
Yeah.
you don't, just anybody can't do that.
I think that this here was probably copied from another utility. It's probably something that's used between agencies, and most of the time, it's for an electric utility. It's probably not really
Right.
Yeah.
geared towards a utility that has electric and gas. So usually a utility, when they're using this, is all electric, so that's why they have the electric water heater, and everything else is all of the electric stuff.
And I don't know, just because of how much money, 1.5% of the electric revenue goes into these programs and 0.5% of the gas. So electric department puts in much more funds into all these programs compared to gas. So a lot of our programs, other than a few exceptions, are cater to electric savings. And I don't know if that relates to this program as well.
So has this been approved already by them?
This hasn't been
Or it's-
approved by anyone.
I think I might change, I would suggest maybe changing that electric water heater to electric or gas. They might have an electric water heater in there and maybe don't have the option for gas. There's a few of those in
We'd
town.
be paying, somebody would be paying more to switch that over
That's expensive, because you need
Right.
to put a
to
chimney in.
gas from electric, even though,
Right,
yeah.
right, because then you need that power vent
Mhm.
out the side. But if they've already got a gas water heater hookup and they need a new water heater, and we have gas savings that we can apply to that for our state program, I would think that we would want to have it in there that they would get unless they don't deal with gas. Because they don't install it, they have somebody else come out and do that kind of work, don't they?
Right,
Right,
correct.
they would
yeah.
have a
Correct.
heating and cooling or a plumber
Right.
come out and do that.
Is there any other questions or discussion?
I guess, do you want to look into that more, Derek, as far as the water heaters?
Yeah.
To specify it a little bit more, or to see if that is, I don't want to propose to do it and then we find out later that for some reason they don't want to do it, or they can't do it, or don't
Right,
want to.
if they're not capable.
Right,
And maybe even getting an idea of price. Not that it's, I mean, I think it could probably be $1,500 to $2,000 to switch from a chimneyed water heater to a side vented.
well, they wouldn't switch, though. It would be just if they have
If they've got a side vent already, I mean.
yeah, if they have an electric water heater already, that would have a power vent.
Yeah, we're just
Or,
talking
not
about
the gas.
offering a
the
gas
side-
water heater replacement if they already have a gas water
Right,
replacement.
if they already have the chimney and they have a gas, we wouldn't, you
But the
wouldn't.
chimney ones aren't energy efficient, Energy Star. It would have to be a side
Yeah, I
vent.
get what you're saying. They'd be vented out the side. Yeah,
Mhm.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, the ones with the regular chimney aren't, unless they change that, but they never were.
No, but
Sure.
you're probably getting into territory where the power vent efficient ones are getting up there, where people would probably start having to replace those. So that might be a possibility.
You mean if they've
But-
already got it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I don't know how many of them would actually be out
Mhm.
there at this point yet, but
I don't know, maybe we should just leave it, because it's just on replacements, so they would have an electric water heater to start with. And we wouldn't,
Well, I
Couldn't do-
mean, it's up to the commission. I mean, we have a good list of items
right?
the way it is, but we can always add more. We can change it's presented to you all, so you can make that decision, and I'll look into whatever you wish. So
When do you have to have this finalized? Is this for 2020 or?
it's for 2020. It's just we haven't had meetings, and
Yep.
so it's kind of pushed back. I have been in contact with them. They know that we're discussing it, and it's a contract, so they can't. I mean, they're not going to do anything without the contract. So
So I would hate to have them wait another couple months,
yeah, they
because.
did not let me know if they have a waiting list or not.
Mhm,
I mean, last year was months and months and months before I saw anything
Sure.
from them. Because I remember we had a meeting and someone had asked, why isn't this being used? And that next week, there was 3 of them came in. So,
I would be more in favor of doing the gas water heater and maybe eliminating like the dishwasher and even a chest freezer. That's not a necessity. A water heater is a necessity, basically. A chest freezer and a dishwasher are not necessities.
Mhm.
I could argue for the chest freezer, if somebody had a really large family and, they bought food in bulk and, it was, I could argue for that being necessary, in that case, if they just had a lot of food on hand.
Mhm.
So that might not be bad.
Yeah, I kind of thought that too. It,
To keep it in, you mean?
yeah,
Mhm.
to keep it in, just because of the fact of if you do have a large family,
Mhm.
so you've got 4
Yeah.
kids and.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, all the other ones I thought should stay in.
So do we want to look at doing a motion indicating the things we'd like Derek to look into changing, or is it easier to let you look into that more and before we would approve it, or I guess I'm
Or do
not
we
quite
wanna
sure. I don't want to make it difficult with.
Or do we want to approve this and wait until next year so that
Yeah,
this
that'd
can
be
get
another
going?
Yeah, maybe,
option too.
do you want to remove the dishwasher this year? Just have them remove the dishwasher and kind of leave do research on the water heater
For next year.
for next year?
I think too, I was thinking, I don't know if it'd be possible. I know in the past we've had them come in and kind of talk to us a bit when this was here. Maybe that would be another possibility that they could maybe answer.
Maybe a little earlier next year or something,
Yeah,
like our
more of
first
the
meeting in
questions
January
are-
or.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
yeah,
even,
I think they'd be more than willing to do that.
Yeah.
Like you said, they've done
So-
that in the past.
Yeah.
When
that'd
there
be-
was those price changes, they came in probably.
Mhm, yep. Yeah, I think the price changes was the last time I saw them. But that maybe be another good possibility to get some
Yeah.
more discussion and kind of see.
or even maybe even before the January, so we can have.
Yeah,
it-
like
Oh,
towards
sure.
the end.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah,
it's
we
up
could
and,
have
up
them-
and ready when
Yeah,
January
yeah.
1st or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yep.
The September or November.
November. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah.
I will make the motion to approve the Minnesota Valley Action Council 2020 contract, except to take out the dishwasher.
Okay, so we have a motion. Do we have a second to approve the contract, taking out the dishwasher?
I'll second.
So we have a motion and second. Any other questions or discussion? Okay, so the motion would be.
One more thing. I see the ECM motor on here, and now that's standard on all new furnaces.
But it's a replacement, isn't it?
Now, so it could be where that motor, well,
Oh, you're, okay. Oh, new furnace replacement.
yeah.
Place current unit.
I had understood it was just the motor that they're gonna replace for $750.
Mhm.
Permitting of them. Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay. Is any other questions or discussion? Okay, so we have the motion that we're going to approve the contract with taking out the dishwasher, correct? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right. Then we're on item 4.2, the CIP audit review.
This is a large packet, but I think half of them are rebates and some examples from other utilities that they included with their report. So it's a little intimidating. But so Energy Insight Incorporated out of Chanhassen was hired to take a look at all our conservation improvement, our CIP programs. Because I initially was looking for the past 2 years, looking at the money we were spending and our savings that we were getting from that money spent, and it wasn't really totaling up. We were spending 80-90% of what we were supposed to, which is really good. But our savings was not close to where it needed to be. So for any of you that are new, these funds are taken from the electric department and the gas department. So it's taking in consideration 1.5% of the revenue from the electric department and 0.5% from the natural gas department. Up until this year, we voluntarily put in 0.5% of our gas revenue into these programs, but we have sold enough gas that we are now required to put that money into these programs, but that doesn't change anything because we've been putting that in the programs regardless. So it's hard to summarize this report because they talk about each individual account and program. So what they did is I sent them all the reporting I had from the last year, and they kind of looked at it and put their numbers into everything and came up with, I think, the way that we were collecting information in the past. We weren't collecting enough information, so when we would report to the state, so each year we have to report to the Department of Commerce on our spending and our savings through different software that they've compiled. And we weren't reporting correctly for the last numerous years. We weren't off by a lot, but we weren't pretty much gathering the correct savings. We weren't gathering the correct information to submit to the state. As an example, residential lighting. The way we were collecting information, we were looking at the light bulbs we were replacing as all 9-watt light bulbs. Well, there's different savings you can gather from different types of bulbs and different wattages of bulbs. So we weren't as accurate as we could be. So that's the type of findings that they found. And they calculated what we were getting back for savings price-wise for what we were rebating to customers. There's quite a few programs that we should reduce the amount that we're rebating to customers, but there's also some other programs that they said that we should just get rid of, because one of the reasons why we went and got these programs audited was we were not getting the savings required by the state and state statutes. And one reason is we have a lot of programs that are good, but that don't capture and the state doesn't recognize as a possibility to capture any savings. One program would be the relief or shade tree program. Wild trees have lots of benefits. One would be reducing carbon emissions, which would then obviously reduce the temperature, which would reduce the need to having people using AC units. Trees are not a measurable, it's not measurable within 1 year. So the state looks at anything that's rebated as an appliance or anything installed. They look at the first year of implementation or purchase, and that's where the savings are captured and then looked upon. Trees, they don't recognize trees as that. So that's one program that not only the state said we can't do or we shouldn't be putting our money towards, but that this company also found out. So that's the type of stuff that they looked at and the information they gathered. Some of our popular programs, they also mentioned that we should reduce what we rebate. One of our more popular programs is our furnace check and clean. That's one of our very popular programs. Just like the AC check and clean, that's $40 off of a furnace check and clean. They said we should probably reduce that to at least half. So that comes into the problem of how much does that affect the vendors and how much they rely on that also. So there's some things to kind of consider with what this, yep.
Question, have we ever checked, before this program started, what the average cost of an annual, cleaning and recheck was and what they're charging now?
I do know what they're charging now and have an idea of what they may have charged 10 years ago,
Okay,
just based off of what the rebate used to cost or what we'd rebate. So that rebate doesn't go directly to the customer, it goes directly to the vendor. They take that right off the bill. So at one time it might have been $30 or $20, $30. So now it's been $40 for a while, and that was off of an $80 check and clean.
now it's 120?
Now it's not $80 anymore. So
Quite a bit more. My question is, have they just absorbed it within their own billing?
right.
And that, we haven't helped the customer at all. We've only helped those who are providing the service, which is an excellent
Right.
service and should be given whenever possible, but we really haven't reduced the cost of it to the customer.
Not much. Not with keeping it $40. As far as I know, they've only the last year or two is, I think maybe the price of them has gone up. As far as I know, but
It
I don't
has.
always see what the cost is. Sometimes
When
that's blacked out.
When we started the negotiated cost of that, and so this is how many years ago, 10 years ago when
Right.
I was there, $60,
Right.
so.
See, and this was all, you're right, it was negotiated,
Mhm.
and that negotiation was
Yeah.
broke.
Mm.
When
We
It
negotiated
was-
the price so that everybody was
it was a
charging the
negotiated
same thing
price.
Okay.
for the same amount. We had a checklist of what they were supposed to check on that furnace, and then I think and it was $30. I think we gave $30, and it was a $60
The
clean
vendor,
and check.
yeah.
And then through the years, obviously they need to increase their,
Right.
Yes.
but the savings for the utility remain the same. I
Yeah.
mean, as far as what we can claim at the state. So it's not beneficial for the utility to give any more rebate. And they did up it to $40.
it's
But-
$40 currently,
Yeah.
right? But like Lisa was saying, there's that, what we get back kilowatt an hour, or in this case therms or CCF, we're not getting anything back.
Yeah, and what
To try to reach our state goal, our savings. So it's, as these programs age and technologies come out and replace things, when more people at home put in more LED lights, that savings that utilities can capture is gonna start going away. So it's not gonna be that program's not gonna be cost effective for the utility to meet that goal. So we need to start looking at getting rid of programs or trying to find different technologies or what's on the market to rebate to customers.
And the Department of Commerce complained about our $40 being too much?
No, it's the trees,
Well, just the trees part
just
of
the
it,
trees,
not,
not the, no.
okay.
Through the
then-
study, it
No, through the
shows,
study, they showed that we should reduce our costs to try to capture more savings.
each program, through the state, each program has a cost societal benefit. You know, when is that program cost effective for the customer and then the utility? You know, how much rebate and how much savings are you getting from that? So it's a very complicated formula. So they put out this TRM, the Technical Reference Manual, where they've gone through all these complicated things and they have suggested rebates, you know, and the savings that you can claim through the state when you file your report. So it's when they say the rebate is too much, it's because the savings on that measure that they're doing
Isn't worthwhile.
isn't worth that much rebate in comparison to doing other measures like, you know, putting in a 96% efficient furnace or
In
something.
comparison to an AC check and clean, we can capture more savings. So we could increase that from $40 to $50 or more.
And
still
that's on
get
the
a good-
electric side.
That's like right on the
Yeah.
electric side.
The-
So
Do they do a monitoring every year of this?
it's reported every year.
And they come
How
back
much is
to you,
monitored?
and they come back to you with a report.
Yes. Yep. It says how much yep. And I actually was at, how many meetings ago did I bring one as an example?
Yeah. it
Well,
was-
sometime last year, we didn't have
yeah,
many
would've
meetings.
been-
But after
mhm.
this year's reporting for last year, that will be brought to the commission to look at.
Okay. I'll look eagerly for that also.
Yeah. Well, and there might be, you know, I probably should put in the past, they had put them on the website, but the website's kind of hard to navigate and find things, so. And if you'd like to look at one, that's easily enough to get, so.
And if you go to the state website, and if you can find it, it's there too,
Yeah.
Right.
through a docket number.
So I don't know if anyone had a chance to glance through it, if there was anything that stuck out or any questions regarding their findings. And this is just their findings. It doesn't mean we need to follow their recommendations. That's all it is recommendations.
Were you pretty satisfied with what they presented you with as far as the report and the information?
Yeah, I think so.
What you were looking for?
Yeah.
Was there anything that they said, and I kind of glanced through a good chunk of it, but was there anything that they said that would make you think it would be worthwhile to go through the programs and kind of retool, make some recommendations for different types of programs?
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
it's hard. There was, of course, mine's printed. It was appendix C or B. I mean, they gave some examples of what their suggested rebate would be for certain accounts, and they came up with what savings we could capture. And they're trying to get, I mean, they're also trying to get more business, so they've thrown some other ideas out.
I saw that.
Yeah.
But I was sort of wondering about, are there other utilities that have different programs that are worthwhile, interesting,
Oh,
anything to adopt?
There's
You know
a
what I
lot
mean?
of-
I'm talking about changes.
yeah, I mean, a lot of utilities have similar programs, depending on, that's where we're unique. It's not super hard to compare, but it's a little difficult to compare certain utilities that just are focusing on water and electric, while we have gas and electric, and where we're trying to put the money in the funds. So certain utilities seem to have higher rebates for certain industrial customers because they just sell electric. So they want to try to get those savings and spend that money. But I think overall, our programs have been fairly competitive, I would think. But I think they do need some retooling.
Okay.
Whether it's decreasing some, but definitely maybe increasing some.
Yeah, I guess that was my thought too on, you know, do we need to start looking at some of these, start working our way through so that maybe we can get stuff updated for early enough for next year. I think there was, can't get mine to come up and I don't have mine with, but was there also something about our rebate forms in there?
They had from them,
Okay.
from the company,
Yeah.
saying that they could do that. Yeah, that's something they offer. They'd either do something like this, and they send me some examples
Okay.
separately. But we're looking internally. Well, like before the meeting, I talked about a program that can kind of help gather the correct information. But internally too, we're talking. We already have software that the IT department uses, whether it's Tyler Encode that we use for billing and other things, along with something called Laserfiche, where we put a lot of scan the hard copies in. They all have a lot of different capabilities that actually could function 90% of what I want to do, which would include fillable forms that would be
Okay.
online and going that route, and then kind of tying that in with the beginning balance and, you know, crediting or debiting certain accounts and helping track that way. It wouldn't give me, I don't think it will give me kilowatts or kilowatt an hour savings like some of these other high-tech programs could do, but it's a start and I think it would help.
Well,
So-
yeah. And I think if we can streamline things on your side, if there's something that'll make it
Right.
easier, instead of having a bunch of different forms, if there's kind of a one place to go for that. Other
That's-
questions or comments or? I think this one, we're just looking to receive an order filed, but I guess maybe, I don't know if Derek wants, if he feels like he wants feedback on far as if there's something we want him to look into, or I guess, do you have any questions for us, Derek, or where do we want to go from here?
Maybe we want to see if, Derek, if you want to pull the programs that you think need the most tweaking or changing,
Yep.
and then bring those back to us if you want
Okay.
feedback on that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, we can start that.
So I'll make a motion to receive the report and file, and then Derek can bring back the programs that need the most attention.
I'll second that.
Right, we have a motion and second to receive an order file, and then Derek can bring back the programs that need the most attention. Any other questions or discussion?
On that relief program,
Yep.
something happened with that. Is that already out of the purview of this
Well,
group?
yeah, we'll get to that next.
Okay,
And
all
this-
right.
yes, it's not budgeted for next year.
Okay.
Yep.
Any other questions or discussion? All right, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. All right, item 4.3, the 2020 budget.
Sorry, who seconded that? You
I
Crick
don't.
did?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Multitasking.
No problem.
Okay. Some reason they didn't stay highlighted like I had wrote in the overview, but so these this is the budget, $284,540 for 2020. There are some new accounts which I can still bring to the commission if you wish. They're not really, they're associated with advertising, but I can keep inform you of them if you wish. So pretty much the accounts that changed from the previous year would be going down the furnace rebate and the AC rebate. The furnace rebate is $5,000 less. The AC rebate is $3,000 less. If you go down a little bit farther to programmable thermostats, that's about $1,000 less. Holiday LED lighting is about $1,500 less. The steam rebate was an increase, and additionally, something I maybe should have, well, I'll mention it now. We're carrying over, it's the one account we're carrying over $4,765 into from 2019 budget into 2020 for the steam rebate, because we just started last week our customer steam audits downtown. So hopefully with those audits, people will fix up some of the steam issues they have, and then they can utilize that rebate money. The water heater is a little bit less. The school education program is a little bit less. Miscellaneous education is about $1,500 less. The newsletter and conservation calendar are two new programs. That's just for trying to report internally, and then for a yearly report, because we can use a certain percentage of our funds towards advertising as an education to the public. Low income program we talked about, which is $2,500 less, and the new program is internal conversion projects, which is $30,000, but that might go away. That was in thinking of energy conservation internally, whether that was at substations or in the building, which we as a utility, we can, if we do energy efficient lighting or anything at substations that are energy efficient, we can use some of those savings as our state report. But I'm pretty sure we can't use actual funds, but we weren't certain, so that's why we budgeted that amount of money into there. So that, if that's the case, then that 30,000 will get split back up into these programs.
So any other questions? So looks kind of similar to previous years, and
And
just some
anything that
stuff.
was reduced, such as programmable thermostats, we're just not getting a lot of those in, so that money was used in different accounts. Because some of these other ones did increase a little bit, but same with the holiday lighting. I used money this year to rebate from customers from the following year, so I used leftover money from 2018 chamber dollars for 2019. So I didn't really dip into the 2019 funds for holiday LED lighting. But yeah, any questions on any of the individual accounts?
Are you looking for a motion on this one, Derek, or?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna be looking for a motion on the 2020 CIP budget.
I'll offer a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and second to approve the 2020 CIP budget. Any other questions or discussion? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, item 4.4, 2020 home energy audits.
So for new members, we did home energy audits last year. We had about 13 or 14 home energy audits conducted by the Minnesota Center for Energy and Environment. And I contacted them to do them again in 2020 because I advertised to see if there was any interest. I had about 6 or 7 individuals that were interested. So I contacted the Center for Energy and Environment again and asked if they'd be willing to come down. And they said, as long as they have X amount of people, they would be willing to come down. We had that amount. So they sent a contract over, and we just changed the dates. And so that contract is signed by the city manager and by the Center for Energy and Environment. They've contacted individuals, and they're working towards a date to come back to New Ulm to do those home energy audits.
6 or 7 was enough for them?
6 or 7 was enough for them.
So will we do it again next year? Will we budget for another 6 or 7?
Yeah, sorry, yeah, and for the 2020 or 2021 budget.
Yeah, well, yeah, what do we have budgeted?
Oh, sorry, $8,400,
Okay. So
$8,400
and that will cover
for
the 6 that we have?
2020. Well, we can do more.
Oh, we can do more.
Yeah. So
you'll put out another ad?
I'll put out- yep.
Advertising and
Yep.
that. Okay.
Any other questions or discussion? Otherwise,
I'll make the motion to receive and order file the 2020 home energy audit contract.
A second.
we have a motion and second to receive and order file the 2020 home energy audit contract. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, item 4.5, the 2020 Home and Health Show, which is coming up in March.
March 27th through the 29th. So this was like pretty much everything in the agenda packet was on prior month's agenda packet. So we do have a booth. I went ahead and I got a booth. So if the Energy Awareness Commission does not want to have a booth, we would just utilize it with the larger public utilities booth. So the Energy Awareness Commission does have a booth if it wishes to have one. So I don't know if anybody has any ideas of what they would like to have as the focus of the booth.
Do we have some choices?
Whatever you'd like.
Oh, no choices in particular.
Not A, B, or C.
There's, and it could be integrated with the public utilities. I mean, there's lots of things that have been used in the years past.
Yeah.
It's very, a lot of it's very similar. We bought a power grid kit last year. It's an educational instrument. Actually, CPI St. Mary's School is going to rent it for really cheap for 3 or 4 days, if not longer, before the home show. But I thought about bringing that out to kind of help advertise it, saying that we have this as a utility for the local schools in New Ulm. Kind of remind them that we have it and they can borrow it for free.
And
Just
other-
show an interest and kind of teach and show about not only energy efficiency but just how the grid functions. So each of these, there's different components. There's a wind turbine. There's solar panels that come with it for like a solar array, to a coal plant, a nuclear plant, residential areas, and you can put different loads on this educational device, and it's supposed to be educational and show how the power grid works and how all these different functions kind of work together. So that might be something that either the PUC or the Energy Awareness Commission can use. Of course, we have our stuff in LED lighting, which we can bring out. That's always kind of, I don't know, it seems to be people were interested in it.
Mm-hmm.
But-
yeah.
So unless other people have other ideas.
I think the media is on our side with this whole subject. You know, there was another special on 60 Minutes in the last 2 minutes, 2 weeks, that talked about some of these issues. And then there was another special on Twin Cities media just the last few days, talking about how Minnesota, with their power grid, in our coal usage
Mhm.
in Minnesota, and kind of pointing to the fact that maybe it's not been on the up and up the last few years. We're spending a bundle, and it's the customer that's been paying that through rates,
Right.
no one else. And it's just kind of a hidden fact, you know. I don't remember which channel I was watching it, but I was amazed.
Yeah.
And so I think if you can get some things, do you end up kind of doing this yourself or
Yeah.
running it? It's a Derek project, pretty
Yeah.
much. Okay.
So that's why there's, if there's ideas, I mean,
Will we still be doing posters in the school, from the schools?
I was hoping to do something with the power grid later on in the school year if it works out.
So then we wouldn't have the poster
I
contest
wasn't
this
thinking of
year?
the posters, unless, I mean, I'll contact them tomorrow if I'm coming to town. I probably won't have time to go speak to them,
Okay.
but if they're willing to do the posters, they certainly can do the posters.
Mhm.
Well,
Set
this
the
home and
guidelines.
health show is a regional thing. You get a
Right.
lot of New Ulm people at it.
Yeah.
I don't know what the attendance to that is. It's
A
huge.
lot, yeah. Have you, is the PUC working on an electric vehicle at all? I mean, I know there was talk maybe at some point.
No,
Or, anything on electric vehicles that,
not that I've heard, no. I mean, when they replaced the car 2 years ago, there was that discussion, but they didn't go that route.
More power stations in New Ulm for people passing through is,
The only charging station we have is off of South German Street or North German Street as of right now.
that's,
But that may change with Volkswagen money from,
okay.
that'd be nice if we got a few more.
was New Ulm on for a fast charger? They didn't get any funds for that?
No,
Volkswagen?
no, not that no. But with that Volkswagen money, that's kind of come around again, it kind of,
Mhm.
right? I mean, I thought I had heard that there was something hiccuped with it, and it was
I
starting
think
up
they did
again.
their allocations now for the
Mhm.
second round.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You're right, there is something that restarted giving out money.
right.
Thinking Quick Trip in St. Peter has, 2 charging stations right there on the premises. But, I don't know if they got space
Yeah, I don't know
here.
if it's city or utility owned, or if that's,
I don't know.
or if Tesla came in and put them, I haven't seen them, I'm not sure.
Okay, when you go into Quick Trip in St. Peter, look to the right near the highway. Between the station and the highway, there's 2 stations for,
Yeah.
It might be, they might have gotten some of that first go around where
They
they.
could have, yeah.
Because they're right on the,
they're on 160.
Well,
one
yeah.
sixty-nine.
But
Those interstates, they really are, trying to get the fast chargers. 'cause
And
they
we were,
know-
there was some other investor going after a large sum, I know that, and we were on their radar coming from north and then
Mhm.
down through New Ulm, west,
Mm,
and then through Rochester to Chicago. But,
Might be, yeah, I just thought that might be something
yeah,
appealing to people as the electric vehicles you're starting to hear more. We got the charging station.
Right.
Promote that charging station.
Mhm.
we could have something
Something
small
around.
about just a charging station. I mean, it does get usage,
Mhm.
not a lot, but it's used every month.
And there's a website out there too that, it's amazing. It has the state of Minnesota and how many electric vehicles are in the area, like in the zip code.
Right.
I think there's like 17 in Minnesota. Or not in Minnesota, in New Ulm, in the 56073 zip code.
Yeah, I mean,
17 total.
people that have EV, you know, they have their apps, and I've talked to them. I've seen if there's an EV station there, that's where they shop. That's where they go to.
It'd be nice
They do.
if we had an owner that would bring one in for just display. Anybody know anybody?
There's a doctor that has one.
I have a friend I know
Tesla.
that has one. I think it might
Didn't-
be a high.
It's the only one I know, too.
Mm-hmm.
Bill Swan.
He's
does,
very
doesn't he?
proud of it.
Does Bill Swan have
He
one?
does. I think
we
he
maybe
does.
need to talk to him.
He does, I think.
Yeah, that'd be a hit.
I mean, that'd be something different, but
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think he's committed to what he's doing, owning that car.
mhm.
That's my impression.
You know, if it was summer, we could have, and maybe it's something we could work on as a different project, is to have some sort of a EV testing day.
Ride and drive.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a group in Minnesota that help. There's a whole toolkit
Right,
out there.
yeah, yep.
Yeah, Minnesota State Mankato, you had a day for that, and that was a pretty big success from what I heard. Of
Yeah,
people.
it was. From my understanding, they had more people than they could fit
Good deal with it.
in.
To
Yep. Mm-hmm.
drive,
Yeah.
to test drive.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, I know some people through certs, at least for sure,
Mhm.
that I could contact.
But then would there be room to display that? I could see a poster or
How big a
a
boost do we
grid,
get?
but a vehicle. Probably wanna
Well, some of
protect
these
that.
electric cars may fit in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't.
I was
Someone-
thinking, Lisa, did you say that website has a map? Or just like a listing of how many
It's a
electric
map.
cars?
It's a map, and it goes by, I believe it's zip code.
Could we reproduce that just as a means to, you know, pair it with promotion of the charging station?
Good idea.
Right.
Just
Right. Yeah. Not. I mean, you know. Yeah. Maybe the
static,
vehicle
you know,
is
somebody
just
could
kind
look
of
at it. Just, yeah.
not doable. But yeah, I think that there's enough information out there that we would be able to put together a nice display on electric vehicles and promoting the charging station.
Sorry, what did you say
Yeah.
that? Do you recall off the top of your head? I can send you an email
Yeah, I've got it.
tomorrow next, and then
yeah.
you can.
I've got it.
Because we have plenty. I mean, it seems late because it's in March. It's the end of March. A lot of the advertisement and who I go through, I can get stuff turned around fairly quick. So, any ideas you have, you can probably get it turned around. So, no, I think this is a good start. And we still have the last year before, we bought reusable bags. We still have some of those, so we'll have those out again. Maybe I can find different literature on just general electric vehicles
Mhm.
and other pre-stuff them like we have the past years, force feed the information to the people.
Didn't I think that one of the presentations was certs, didn't they have some information that like the utility could use? Or maybe we
Oh,
already
yeah.
have all
We have
that?
some,
Okay.
some of the information we have from them. I just
Okay.
was emailing someone, Joel, from there. So I'll see if they have any additional information on electric vehicles and charging stations and things,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
And I like the power grid too, because that'd be nice to get that out there more.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
it wasn't cheap and it
it's-
was meant to be used.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And,
Maybe promote some of those things we have.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. And I'm hoping the teacher from Sleepy St. Mary's, eventually, I think I asked her politely if she'd give kind of summary of how she used it and what she did, because I think that's kind of the hard part with something that's brand new. The gentleman who invented it came down and gave us, there's his talk and kind of a workshop for the teachers, but that was 4 or 5 hours long, but it's hard to get a curriculum around something you're not familiar with.
Yeah.
So that's one reason why I think it hasn't been utilized yet.
Yeah, sometimes the hard part is getting that initial use and getting those that are using it to share their ideas with
Right.
others.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. Any other comments or questions? Yeah, otherwise, I guess we're looking for a motion to approve the booth at the Home and Health Show.
I would make that motion.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and second to approve the EAC booth at the Home and Health Show. Any other discussion or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, so I think we did the election of officers, so then we are on any other commissioner comments or questions? Okay, if not, I'd be looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved?
We have a motion and second to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you.